A warm welcome to you. Thanks for joining us on the program. This is Aviation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe-Oketunmbi. On this edition, we are staying with the issue of the aviation parastatals' proposed merger. The decision by the federal government to merge three agencies into one has generated chaos in the industry and kept most principal players restless. While the federal government insists this decision is geared towards a better level of efficiency and reduction in the cost of governance, aviation unions and professional associations say this decision portends an imminent danger for the aviation sector in Nigeria. We bring you their view and also x-ray the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, one of the agencies penciled down in this proposed merger.
On the local scene, the Murtala Mohammed Airport Ikeja has been voted the best emerging airport African region at the 4th Annual Emerging Airport Conference and Exhibition in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. The award was received by the Managing Director of FAN, Engineer Saleh Dunoma, at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center. The organizers of the conference, who cited the revolutionary turnaround of the airports in Nigeria as amongst the reasons for the award, and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has issued a new air operator's certificate to Overland Airways. According to the regulator, this is in line with the ongoing recertification of all the nation's airlines. The NCAA said that the action followed the fact that the airline had successfully undergone the recertification process and meets all the requirements. The Acting Director General, NCAA, Mr. Benedict Adeyileka, who presented the certificate, said the NCAA will continue to support and help the airlines grow in their operations. The AOC was signed on March the 27th this year and remains valid for 2 years. While Kenya Airways' low-cost carrier subsidiary Jumbo Jet has launched operations with 737-300 services on Kenya's three largest domestic routes, a Jumbo Jet becomes the only fourth low-cost carrier brand in the intra-Africa market and the first by most measures for Kenya. A Jumbo Jet is primarily a defensive move for Kenya Airways, which recognizes that if it did not make an early move in the LCC sector, a competitor would. But it also sees a budget brand as the best option for stimulating demand and growing Kenya's domestic market. Jumbo Jet plans to only operate domestically in its first phase. International services could come later, but Kenya Airways seems in no hurry to pursue ambitious growth for its new subsidiary. A delayed project to supply British Airways with jet fuel from converted waste is a step closer, as the airline has announced that a location has been found for the Green Sky fuel plant in Thurrock, Essex. The Green Sky project will see BA commit to buy all 50,000 tons of jet fuel produced at the processing facility for at least 11 years. The plant, operated by Solina Fuels, is to be built by 2017 on the site of former Croydon Oil Refinery, creating 150 permanent jobs. BA said the facility will be the world's first to convert landfill waste into jet fuel.
British Airways, with our partner Solina, are going to build a ultra-modern new refinery to produce a green biofuel for our aircraft. It's very important for British Airways, and indeed for the whole airline industry, to demonstrate that our commitment to improving our environmental performance is real. As an industry, we've set ourselves tough targets. We're looking to improve our fuel efficiency by 1.5% per annum to 2020, and by 2050 to reduce our net emissions by 50%. Now, these are very challenging targets. We believe we have been a leader in this area. We were the first airline to set ourselves tough targets. We're beating those targets, and by investing in this project, by putting our money where our mouth is, we're going to demonstrate, not just to people in the UK, but to people globally, that you can produce a sustainable biofuel for the airline industry. I think this is a game changer. In effect, we're looking at about $550 million of commitment to this project over the 11-year period that we're going to be involved in it. We're also putting our money into the construction of this project. So we're playing an integral part in getting this project off the ground and literally into the air.
Selena Fuels has been developing the project, which will use its own patented technology alongside current techniques to convert everyday waste into gas and then into a range of liquid fuels.
The underwater search for the flight recorders from the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 is expected to be completed in 5 to 7 days. A U.S. Navy deep-sea autonomous underwater vehicle, Bluefin 21, is scouring a remote stretch of the Indian Ocean floor for signs of the plane, which disappeared from radars on March the 8th with 239 people on board and is believed to have crashed in the area. The underwater search has been narrowed to a circular area with a radius of 10 kilometers around the location, from which one of the 4 pings believed to have come from the recorders was detected on April the 8th. The huge international search and rescue effort for any physical evidence of the plane's wreckage, now in its 7th week, has so far proved fruitless. Officials didn't indicate whether they were confident this search area would yield new information about the flight, nor did they say what steps they would take if nothing was found. After almost 2 weeks without a signal, and long past the flight recorder's battery 30-day life expectancy, authorities were increasingly reliant on the $4 million Bluefin 21 drone, which on Saturday was expected to dive to unprecedented depths. Because visual searches of the ocean surface had yielded no concrete evidence, the drone and its ability to search deep beneath the ocean surface with side-scan sonar had become the focus of the search some 2,000 kilometers or 1,200 miles west of the Australian city of Perth. The search so far had centered on a city-sized area where a series of pings led authorities to believe the plane's flight recorders might be located. After the drone searchers were frustrated by an automatic safety mechanism that returned it to the surface when it exceeded a depth of 4.5 kilometers, that's 14,763 feet, technicians adjusted the mechanism and sent it as deep as a record 4.695 kilometers or 15,403 feet. But hopes that it might soon guide searchers to some wreckage were dwindling, with no sign of any debris after 6 deployments spanning 133 square kilometers, that's 83 square miles.
Some media reports have stated that it would take the Bluefin 21 anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months to scan the entire underwater search area. This is incorrect. The immediate search area that the Bluefin 21 is now scouring should be completed within the next week. The narrowing of the search for today and tomorrow is at a very critical juncture. So I appeal to everybody around the world to pray and pray hard that we find something to work on over the next couple of days.
Search planes and ships from half a dozen countries had tried to catch any glimpse of the wreckage after nearly 2 months of daily sorties, making this the most expensive of such operation in aviation history.
Aviation This Week will take a short break. The program continues in a moment.
The Don Mueang International Airport in Bangkok, Thailand. Now, from a distance, this international looks like any other mid-sized airport. However, in the middle of the 2 runways is an 18-hole golf course. Its uniqueness comes from the fact that the only taxiways are located at the end of the runways. The airport and the course were originally an all-military operation, but have since opened up to commercial traffic. Security threats, however, have limited the public's access to the greens. Imagine the runway made of ice. Well, that's what is obtainable at the Ice Runway Antarctica. This ice runway is one of 3 major airstrips used to hold supplies and researchers to Antarctica's McMurdo Station. As its name implies, there are no paved runways here, just long stretches of ice and snow that are meticulously groomed. Here, there is no shortage of space on the ice runway. No supersized aircraft like the C-130 Hercules and the C-17 Globemaster III can land with relative ease. The real challenge is making sure that the weight of the aircraft and cargo doesn't burst the ice or get the plane stuck in soft snow. Next is the Congonhas Airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Most major cities have an airport, but rarely are they built just 5 miles from the city center, especially in metropolises like Sao Paulo. This airport's close proximity downtown can be attributed in part to the fact that the city has experienced rapid development after the airport's construction in 1936. Having an airport only 5 miles from the city center may be a convenience for commuters. It places a strain on both pilots and air traffic control crews. It's a challenge in terms of safety to get the plane in there. And finally is the Gisborne Airport in New Zealand. There are no cliffs, no city centre or even a golf course. The only spectacular thing about Gisborne Airport on the northern island of New Zealand is the railway line that intersects the runway. Waiting times and delayed flights? Patience is a must for those using this airport.